our goal essentially is to help with depression, help with insulin sensitivity, which is obviously like the number one biomarker for like longevity.
Yeah.
So kind of talking about peptides, like Retta is definitely great for that. It's a very good longevity peptide because it helps with like neuronal conditions, as well as like making sure you're not fat and all the benefits with that, right?
Yeah.
Then also putting on additional muscle size like grip strength and what you're able to actually lift by a couple pounds. We were looking at some studies for that. Focus, so whether that be being able to actually either go in and just kill it at whatever you're doing, getting rid of something what we called, and I talked about this with you, I was looking at an actual drug for this, but we found something natural that would be able to kind of maybe achieve that same effect. Is a lot of people, they're getting banged on the phones when they're doing sales, or you're going out talking to people, you're like, I just feel like I hate talking to people, I can't do this anymore. I'm sure a lot of people relate to that feeling, like they're just exhausted. That would pretty much get rid of it. Like our drinks aim to try to get rid of that feeling.
Sales bros are gonna love this.
Yeah, so like it's gonna be huge in sales, but like even people, like a lot of people don't, like they walk in waking up like, I don't want to talk to anybody, like screw this, unless they're like giddy up on stimulants or like prescription pills or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So we are aiming to do that.
Wow.
Also helping with like dopamine, of course, because that goes along with the focus, but then also making sure that there's things in there that would improve your lifespan as well. So like skin health and antioxidants in there. There's one thing that I actually recommend everybody take, and it's pretty much, it's found in nature if you can find it. It's kind of like, I'll tell you, it's like aspirin. It's called white willow bark, and I'm a big proponent of that. Definitely should take that. I don't mind sharing this part because it's pretty common knowledge. It basically will upregulate dopamine in the brain, helps with sleep deprivation, and also helps with inflammation. So that's the one ingredient I'm willing to tell you. That's one ingredient we're putting in there.
So if I drink this energy drink, I'm gonna be Superman.
We're trying to basically create like the limitless drink. Yeah.
Let's go.
But like without prescription,
in real life.
Yeah, that's why it's Life 2.0. So like we already have our whole design, like
Life 2.0. That's a sick name.
You're gonna see it in a gas station and you're gonna look at it and be like, what the hell is this thing? That's kind of like our.
So your goal is to get it in every gas station in America.
Yeah,
dude, that's fire. Ready to rip? What up? Got my Jewish brother Ryan here with me. How we feeling, dog?
Shalom, machalem. No, I'm just kidding. How we doing, brother?
Dude, I'm doing great. Got back from up north from off Christmas break. It's New Year's tonight, so we're coming into the New Year strong.
Definitely don't want to be ripping policies, having people yelling at me right now, do I?
Yeah. Did you get any prezzies this morning? Oh, and sit a little bit closer to the mic.
Okay, cool. What were you saying?
Get any prezzies?
No. I was working all yesterday. I had absolutely slammed. My computer actually broke. Like it would exploded in the middle of a presentation. Kind of insane.
It actually exploded?
Well, no, like the whole drive was wiped pretty much. Like it just went straight black. It was on its last legs though. So it's like just ran to the Apple store, was like, all right, got to get something new.
Time for a new MacBook.
Yeah.
Let's go. Well, dude, I wanted to get you on here just to talk about not only peptides, but also neurohacking and longevity, and give people tactical, applicable tips they can apply to their life.
Yeah, for sure.
So first of all, one thing that's become huge over this past couple of years are peptides. So what is a peptide exactly?
Yeah, so basically peptides are just like small chains of amino acids. Kind of go back to like, when you were in high school having to do chemistry class. A lot of people obviously didn't remember half the shit they learned in there, but they're just little bonds of different amino acids that are put together that obviously achieve different effects in the body. Whether that, is something that just is, for something like your skin, something for your brain, or something that maybe help like your cardiovascular health, or like all these, prominent problems that we're seeing day to day. Like number one problem for death is, cardiovascular issues. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to
Yeah.
change that and, extend lifespan in the best way we can, and try to make sure that we're optimizing ourselves to the fullest.
Yeah. Yeah. What problems do peptides solve, or are there any problems that peptides don't solve? Would be the better question.
I mean, there are peptides that like I think are overrated. Like I definitely think there's people just like shilling crap that doesn't actually really have much benefit to it.
What's a popular peptide that just doesn't work?
I wouldn't say would saying doesn't work or overrated.
Overrated.
Okay. I definitely think like Samax and Selank are extremely overrated, because there's other things that are out there that you even considered a peptide that would have more of a benefit. Like there's one
For cognition.
Yeah, for cognition. If we're talking like cognition, there's one called cerebrolysin and cortexin, which they actually used to use back in Russia, which is weird because, we're thinking about US medicine and we think we're on the precipice. And like politics aside, Russia did a lot for peptides back in the day. Like Putin had his main guy years ago. His name was Dr. Kobinson. This guy was known as like the father of peptides. Like he had created 20 different peptides, which we call the bioregulators, which achieve different effects in the body, which is pretty insane. So this research goes all the way back to like the 1980s, where they were trying all this, and now it's just becoming popular. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with Chinese labs and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
this goes far back than you even expected. So like cerebrolysin, kind of getting back to that, and cortexin were derived from either pig cattle, or like, pigs or cattle, like their brains, and they had different growth factors. So these people were literally taking like and analyzing brains of cows and pigs and trying to extract the growth factors to put those into humans.
I feel like pigs aren't that smart, or pigs.
Well, yeah, they're not the most intelligent, but like they got the same some of the same neurotransmitters that we got. So people who had like, a traumatic brain injury, or their, ADHD or something that was impairing them like on a day-to-day basis, they were able to like pretty much take those growth factors and start administering them to humans, and be able to actually like either improve their cognition, improve their ability to learn, get rid of brain fog, help with depression, even talking about cortexin, because it has a lot of additional vitamins that were added to these growth factors. I think it's better than cerebrolysin. It's kind of like what we'd call like Gen 2, pretty much, of the original. It was able to actually help with autism in small children. There was a doctor, there's videos online, you can find this, where the guy's speaking in Russian, of course, so I don't understand a lick of it, but it was translated, where they're talking about these kids, when you're talking about in America, if they're nonverbal, like they cannot, speak from like a very young age. Most doctors would say, yeah, they're autistic. Like we're going to have to give them lifetime care. They're going to have like tons of people helping them.
Yeah.
Whereas in Russia, they're like, if they're not speaking at 1.5 years old or beyond, they're like, okay, we'll give them a treatment of cortexin, see if that improves their speech. Then kind of from there, kind of see if we think they're actually just have like either a brain dysfunction or autism, or they're actually able to go on with their life and be better. And the doctor was saying he gave it to like over 100+ patients and saw significant improvements in like their ability. They would start talking shortly, a couple weeks after like administering the drug. Yeah.
Wow. So is cortexin your number one cognitive drug?
Not if we're talking peptides. Yeah. If we're talking like pharmaceuticals, I definitely have like ones that I would think are better, like ACD and like NSI, which I can talk about those if you want me to.
Yeah.
I do think dihexa, which is another peptide a lot of people talk about, and I know we're kind of going on a million tangents here, is very overrated. My main reason for that is just because there's a lot of data to suggest that it would probably cause tumors in humans, and a lot of people, bodybuilders, are shilling it right now. And the reason for that is what? Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Let me ask you this: what's a popular peptides or popular peptides people are taking that does have harmful effects?
So dihexa for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. So like dihexa creates this growth factor called hepatocytic growth factor. I'm not going to break down all the science behind that, but it's 100. I'm sure you've heard of like BDNF, right? Brain derived neurotrophic factor, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the spinach for your brain. Like it's going to be able to make sure that you're able to learn things. You have better recall. You're just super quick and sharp. This HGF, the hepatocytic growth factor, is like, I don't even know the exact quantity because there's a lot of data conflicting, but people speculate it's between 1,000 times to some people are saying million, which I don't think is founded, 1,000,000 times stronger than BDNF. And this is not a selective drug. So when people are taking this, they're literally causing such great expansion in their brain that it would necessarily necessitate possible overgrowth in the brain, such as like a tumor. And it's not in a very selective fashion where you're learning something. Okay, the brain, let's add more neurons to what we're learning. It's let's just give the brain as much and throwing fire at the wall or throwing paint at the wall and hoping that it sticks. So like that's, to me, is like very problematic because I don't know. You might see in a couple of years, people are saying they have brain cancer from this.
Dang.
You know,
so
and
don't take that one.
Yeah. There's not any like data on it either in humans. It's all rats.
What are the safest peptides to take that everybody should be taking?
I think GHK is definitely one of them. Like
it's for those that don't know, what does GHK do? Yeah,
so GHK is pretty much copper with a couple amino acids binded to it, so therefore makes it a peptide. It increases collagen production. So a lot of people, want their Botox or go to the clinic so they can look their best. Kind of this aims to do the same thing, but without actually, like having to get, shit that would screw up your face for the rest of your life and mitigate it all across your body. You see people with filler, it actually like goes all the way back as you get older, which is kind of crazy. But this would like basically upregulate that collagen production. So you're having better skin turnover, helps with acne, also helps with like systemic inflammation. So if you're
funny, somebody was just texting you right before the podcast started about, hey, does GHK, will it help with my acne?
And I'm like, yeah, it probably will. But we'll talk about that on the podcast. It definitely does. I definitely think you should try other stuff, not as like a solo, but it helps with hair growth as well. And a couple other things. So it lowers certain inflammation markers in the body. Don't need to talk about all that because obviously, like, I don't need to get all in detail there. But there are other couple things too. Like I think HCG is a big one for testosterone production. I think testosterone, especially if you're a guy, is huge for your motivation and your longevity. Even though as you get older, it actually is the opposite effect. You don't want super physiological amounts when you're like 90 or 100 years old, but obviously for quality of life purposes you want it to be as high as possible, and
it also helps keep your sperm
fresh. Yeah, it's a fertility,
keep those kids strong.
Yeah, it's a fertility drug. So just don't be doing anything that you shouldn't be doing. Let's just say that. So you're just having you'll have definitely some strong swimmers for sure. But it also upregulates this part in the body for your testosterone called LH, which actually helps with what we call mesenchymal stem cells. So this is what was an anti-aging pathway. So it will actually activate those dormant pathways in the body. So you're actually helping yourself de-age actively while taking something that would increase your testosterone as well, and has a lot to do with that neurosteroid production. So helping with your mood, your stress resilience, and then also just being able to, build extra muscle in the gym.
Yeah.
So it's probably like one of my top favorites. I definitely think hormone optimization comes first before we're even talking about like cognitive enhancers. And it is a cognitive enhancer in a way because those neurosteroids do make you a lot sharper.
Yeah, if you hop off ACG, are you good? Is it like TRT where it shuts down your
Yeah,
body's
yeah,
hormone production, or does it help increase it?
yeah. I mean, that's a good question. So like, I no, it's not like that. So all it's doing is backdooring that pathway, whereas like TRT is like actually giving yourself that exogenous hormone where it's constantly flooded in your system. All this is really doing is like telling your brain, hey, we don't have enough testosterone. Let's like tell your balls to make more pretty much
Yeah.
and kind of like upregulate that. So sending like the necessary hormones for your body to do that. And if you stopped it, I mean, the only thing that would happen is you'll go back to what your test was before. So if you're like,
Just go back to normal.
yeah. So if you're like at like 400 and you're feeling like crap, you're at 900 and you stop it, you'll start feeling like crap again. But that's not because you stopped taking. That's because your test is back where it used to be. You know?
Right. Okay. For all, because we're gonna have a lot of sales bros watching this, so for all the sales bros, they're like, dude, what are the peptides? I just want to look jacked. What are the peptides I can take to get jacked without messing up my hormones or making my body dependent on something or causing long-term side effects? What are the safest growth hormone peptides to look freaking yoked?
Okay, so that's actually something I kind of wanted to talk about. Like, I think there's a lot of growth hormone peptides that, like, you're looking at the data, it doesn't really seem to like add up to me. And like, I have, had personal experience using some of those. There is conflicting data because I did get some of them from Chinese labs. So, those labs came out, saying some of those stuff was bunk. This was back in like a couple years ago, so it's a lot better now. But I remember trying like CJC and ipamorelin, and I was looking at my IGF-1 levels, which are what's the indicator of how high your growth hormone is, because they can't measure your growth hormone directly, right?
Yeah.
And it was like 230, which is like up, but not like even at the high end of the reference range. So I'm like, it's not even a surmountable increase. So I'm like, why am I even taking this? You know what I mean? In terms of like peptides, probably your closest bet, and I mean, it's not really a peptide, but would in a way agonizes those, growth hormone pathways, would be like an MK677. That would probably get you that growth hormone, similar to like taking actual growth hormone. And then tesamorelin probably gets rid of the body fat around your stomach, gets you more growth hormone, so you'll be a little more anabolic. Definitely. And stuff like HCG as well, probably. IGF-LR3 is something that's also there, but there's not as much data behind it. Anecdotally, a lot of people say that it's got them freaking yoked. So like, go ahead and try that at your will. There's not a lot of scientific data behind that.
For which one?
IGF-LR3.
IGF-LR3.
A lot of people like it. There is some things kind of like where I go into like safety, like dihexa, where you don't want chronic periods of IGF-1 elevation. So if you're going to be using that, I would probably only run it for like maybe a couple months or so and get off of it. Because while IGF-1, unlike growth hormone, is anti-diabetic, it also is anti-longevity. So you don't want to be having that fluctuating in your system for like years on end. It's not something you want to take all the time. It'd be like kind of like what you think of like a steroid cycle, get in and get out kind of thing.
All right. So IGF-1, powerful, but not good for you long term. HCG, same thing, powerful, but not good to take.
No, HCG is good for you long term.
HCG?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I take that personally every 3 days, every other day pretty much.
Or HGH is what I was referring to.
HGH.
So HGH is powerful. Don't take long term. What are the safe ones that you're going to get good results from? What's the safest one
for bodybuilding?
Just for putting on muscle, looking good in the gym.
I mean, there aren't that many. I mean, to be honest, I think the best way you can do that is just try to mitigate a lot of the side effects from that. So if we're talking something like MK677, it's pretty benign, but you also still run into the same issues that you do with growth hormone. So my suggestion is like, try to find ways you can mitigate that, whether that's taking something like berberine, which helps with your insulin sensitivity, or like pharmaceutical drugs, which obviously I'm not going to recommend on the podcast, but like things that would help with that, because there's a lot of issues that go on there. For getting yoked, probably testosterone optimization mostly. So like endocrine, kisspeptin, and HCG. The growth hormone pathway, there's a lot of issues with that. So I usually don't tell people to take like peptides for that directly. I mean, they're probably safer than taking straight growth hormone, but not much better in my opinion.
Okay. So it's about the same as taking steroids, basically.
I don't know about that. Like, definitely there's still some problems with it. Like, it's not a free lunch.
It's going to have side effects.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. For a cognition, because a lot of people have taken Adderall in the past or different things. So what's the best, and we were talking about this earlier, but what's the best and safest cognition peptide you can take without frying your system?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of what I was talking about earlier. I'm a big fan of Cortexin. If we're talking like non-peptides and just longevity and biohacking, definitely I would say like ACD and NSI. These are like, I've seen people who've had like traumatic brain injuries like get at an elevated baseline, or people who've had like chronic drug abuse kind of be able to get past where they were before. It's kind of crazy to kind of see that shift where someone, can't even remember what they were saying 5 minutes ago, being able to just like be dialed into what they're doing.
Yeah.
And kind of what you're talking about like earlier with like, and other people we've had on podcasts like Nick Alfano. There's one that called NSI that it's a drug they've been buying and rebuying over and over again, these different pharmaceutical companies. It's still a research chemical, but it activates a pathway called TLX, which is what we call the organ receptor, like the orphan receptor in the body. So it would basically remap your whole brain as an adult, which is so crazy to think about, because if you're able to change someone's behaviors, you can, change someone for life. It's like you teach someone how to fish, right?
Yeah.
So you're able to start changing your behaviors, instill those new memories, instill those new behaviors, beliefs, like stop degenerate behaviors, like people going after like, let's say fat women, or like not eating right, or going after hard drugs, like kind of changing
or even
that.
solve a lot of childhood trauma.
Yeah, that too. I mean, even getting into like, for psychology, like I think SSRIs are evil, and like this is something that I would think would be 100 times better to take than versus like something like that, So I mean, I've had personal experience with it too, and I've seen like profound growth of what I've been able to do in terms of my outcome and the way I'm able to speak to people and talk. Definitely think there's a lot of misinformation though about a lot of other drugs out there on the market for sure.
Like what drugs exactly?
Like Samax and Salank that kind of talked about like they're good, but they don't really give such a substantial increase that you'd be able to heal from something like banging your head or getting in a car crash or something like that. Like
most people just take it for a little bit extra edge, though, a little bit extra focus.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that's overhyped, or?
Yeah, when you're talking about like other drugs out there, like it doesn't even hold a tea or a candle to it. Like we could talk about things that like that cause that long-term potentiation, which is what are those learned behaviors. So people being able to either like there's one that called naboglamine, which actually handles antipsychotic behavior for people who are like schizophrenic or bipolar. Usually with that kind of stuff, you have to take like antipsychotic medications, right? With this, it actually improves cognition even in healthy people and doesn't impair function. It actually will make you smarter at the same time. So it improves cognition too while fixing that issue. Yeah. And it also stops that degenerate behavior too. And then like on top of that would provide you kind of like a mood boost, because it works very similar to that of like ketamine, but without getting you high. You know what I mean? So like
we're talking about ketamine.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. This is not Joe Rogan. We're not talking about all the. Yeah, we're not talking about like all the psychedelics out there, but like mechanistically, it works very similar to that of ketamine. It works on the NDMA pathway, so it provided a huge mood uplift. They were trialing it for depression actually, and I mean this was back in the day, so they kind of realized, well, there's already SSRIs, so there isn't really a market for like an antipsychotic medication that, would help with mood as well. So they kind of just dropped it, and then never was picked back up for some reason. I don't know why. Everything on it looks great, to be honest.
Interesting. How bad is Adderall for you?
Yeah, that's a long way to discuss, especially people in sales. I know people like to call it dial candy.
Yeah,
um, I have a business partner of mine who owns a research chemical company. He made a big post about why Adderall and a lot of these stimulants are really bad for you. They looked at orangutans and monkeys. They did a study over like 6 months, right? They gave them very low doses of like amphetamine, which is Adderall,
yeah. Hmm.
for like, maybe let's say like 2 milligrams, something very like wouldn't even help you lock in or anything like that, right?
Hmm.
We're giving to these primates. So what they found when they were giving to these primates is that it actually fried their axon terminals. And like, to put that simply, what that means is like the way your brain processes information and how those synapses fire between your brain. So what that really meant is like your information, you're basically frying your brain long term, even at a very low dose. And you're not able to obviously recall a lot of the information that you had before. So it's like, what is it you're really valuing? Being dialed in for, possible memory impairment, or you accept that risk and kind of go on with it. And then on top of that, like, even after one dose, which is crazy, just one singular dose of Adderall in these primates, it fucked up their motor movement for up to 6 months.
No way.
Yeah.
Off of one dose. Damn.
Yeah. So it also screws up your dopamine too. So like your motivation, your baseline will get down regulated because of these pathways like called TH. But yeah, I don't need to get too complicated with it.
Yeah. Wow. So I'm big on doing things naturally for as long as possible. And then once you're fully optimizing your life, if you need to, once you have the information, obviously this podcast is not medical advice, disclaimer. But I've taken peptides in the past.
Feels like I'm talking about Instagram reels.
Right, exactly. Don't want to get sued here. But I've taken peptides in the past, in different things, and whether it's for muscle growth or cognition or skin, GHK. I actually just started taking GHK. Dude, my skin's glowing.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
Better.
You look like
you're
wearing makeup. Like, it's crazy. Like, I've been doing it for a minute now. Yeah, I know. Claudia told me. Yeah, she told me. Thank you, man. Yeah. So it's
almost looking like vegan skin. There's something about, I don't know. Obviously, I would never go vegan. I love meat, and personal opinions about vegans aside. One thing I've noticed, dude, vegans have great skin. So it's almost like as good as that.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think if you look at people who only eat steak and like beef because of all the vitamin A, which is like kind of like retinol, their skin's clear as day too. So that's
or people that are fully carnivore.
Yeah. It's either or. Yeah, you can't have. It's just cutting all the Lays and fucking Twixes out of your diet, pretty much. Just Whole Foods.
Cut all the BS. Yeah, just eat Whole Foods. But drugs aside, for people that want to live an optimized life, what are the best biohacking routines that people can implement?
Yeah, so definitely I would say testosterone or hormone optimization. If you're a woman, obviously do not take anything to optimize your testosterone. Second would probably be cognition enhancing, obviously, because of what you're able to do in terms of your behavior, kind of like what we were talking about earlier.
I'm talking about what are the routines?
Drugs aside. Routines, a lot of that.
Optimize your life, to optimize testosterone, focus, energy, clarity, detox your body, everything.
Definitely exercise. Definitely is huge. Big proponent of that. It does a lot of what I talk about, like these neurogenic drugs do. Obviously, it can't do it in the same capacity, but it's not a replacement.
Yeah.
So it releases brain-derived nootropic factor when you're exercising.
Yeah.
So that should help with your mood, your clarity, depression. There's a lot of studies that suggest that exercising is akin to that of taking an SSRI. So, I mean, in my opinion, those are just sugar pills and they make you narcissistic. That's a whole other topic. But
yep.
What did you say?
I said agreed.
That's definitely one behavior. I definitely think sauna is really good for that too. It also releases brain-derived nootropic factor, good for your skin, good for your longevity. Definitely think just for your mood, like metacognition, kind of what Nick Alfano talks about. So like writing down and reflecting everything at the end of the day, making sure you're aligned with your goals, kind of seeing where you need to be, just having a lot of systems in place, like whether that be a calendar or something to write with. Then also, obviously, you were talking like stimulant use, but like sustainable stimulants, not Adderall. So like whether that's caffeine or something like a lot of people could try this. I'm not recommending. I'm not a doctor. It's called KW6356, which was originally developed as a Parkinson's drug. Kind of acts like caffeine, but like on steroids, let's say that. So it would probably give you that laser focus like Adderall does, but without actually frying your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good for salespeople for sure.
I'm big on simplicity, and I haven't asked ChatGPT this, but if you ask ChatGPT what are the top 3 habits that successful millionaires and billionaires implement in their daily routine, I guarantee you that they work out every day, they eat healthy, and they have a set routine. Those 3 simple things. So have a set routine where you're doing the same thing every day. You know what you're doing. You know what's planned for the next day. Get active. Just get your heart rate up. Get sweaty, whether it's weightlifting, running, whatever works best for you. And then just put clean foods in your body.
Yeah.
Don't put BS in your body.
Yeah. So
because if you're not living a healthy, active lifestyle, nothing we've talked about this far will matter.
Yeah. So the gut brain,
first and foremost,
for sure, the gut brain axis matters a lot. And I actually talked about this for one of the things that I on my page was there's a probiotic that does increase testosterone that also by like 200%. That also improves your gut microbiome at the same time. So it's called alpha mannins. It actually comes from like a brewer yeast that you can it's like a highly concentrated version of it. But that improves your brain, your insulin sensitivity, and then obviously your cognition because they're all connected. So definitely there. That's why I think your lifestyle has to be a big factor before all these nootropic, like you said, exercise, make sure you're, sweating, getting a right amount of sleep because sleep is huge. You could take all these drugs. It won't mean shit if you're not sleeping right.
And, and not only how long it's not necessarily how long you're sleeping, but it's the quality of your sleep.
Yeah, so sleep.
Make sure I make sure my room is completely pitch black. My room is completely pitch black, and I wear a sleeping mask. Make sure it's cold, because if you're hot, you're gonna sleep like crap. And then this is actually a shameless plug. We got an 8 sleep. Absolutely changed the game. I'm a psycho. I get super hot.
I wish I had one. I know about those.
Bro,
yeah.
Dude, it's the price of a Gabe Anderson Camry, but it's worth it. It's worth every penny. Dude, I got this thing because I'm a psycho when I sleep. Dude, we used to turn it down to 52 degrees.
Really?
Or in the winter when we lived up in Chicago, bro, it'd be 10 degrees outside. I'd open up the window.
Wow.
I'd be like, dude, it's cold, whatever. So now this 8 sleep, we can control each side of our bed. So I turn mine all the way down, get it nice and chilly. Dude, I sleep like an absolute baby. And then what it does, it sends me a sleep score every morning, and it tracks my sleep within the different stages of awake, light, deep, and then REM sleep. And then it'll automatically cool up and down to allow me to stay in deep and REM sleep longer. So ever since I got that, I can get an hour less sleep per night and function better than before.
And definitely there's also supplements to do that too. So like I'll just tell you some off the rip. Like definitely I think magnesium glycinate, it's a big one that's not really talked about hugely. For obviously blue light is a huge problem when we're talking about sleep. There's one called L-serine, which actually is good for your cognition first and foremost because it converts to different things like glycinate and like D-serine, which is a cognitive enhancer. But it also blocks blue light and helps with the interruption of your circadian rhythm. So it would also improve that REM sleep as well.
Yeah, I got a setting on my phone, so I double tap this 3 times, and it turns off all the blue light. So ideally, you don't want to be on technology an hour to 2 hours before bed, but I mean, just people are, especially on the East Coast, bro. I'm getting phone calls at all times.
You're blowing up. Yeah, all my friends
are
from the West Coast. It's like 9 o'clock, and they're like, "Yo, what's up?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm trying to go to bed."
They're just getting off of work.
Yeah.
So I'm typically on the phone pretty late in the night, but just eliminating that blue light off my phone. You go in your settings, do that. That's super helpful. That's changed the game for me. And also not eating before bed.
Yeah. So
that's really
so kind of what you're talking about, like growth hormone optimization. Like when you don't eat prior to 2 hours before sleeping, you are optimizing your growth hormone secretion. So if you're like binging food before you're, you're going to bed, A, will screw up your sleep. B, it's also going to stop the growth hormone secretion. So you're going to get fat. And then your skin's going to look like crap. And your sleep is not going to be as well rested. So if you even hit the gym, you're not going to feel as great as you did before. So, it's like evil. It's a dangerous game you're playing, man.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know if there's any science behind this, but when I go to bed hungry, I don't sleep well. And for the past few years, I drink a protein shake before I go to bed every night. Is that good? It helps, and I sleep great. So I don't know if it's just me or if there's science behind it, but does it affect your sleep? Is it better or worse drinking a protein shake before bed?
So it really depends. Like, I use it as a general guideline. If you're empty, like, it's going to probably be optimal. But if you're also using something where it's just protein, then it's a very like slow acting, digesting thing where it probably won't have a big impact on your sleep as much as like binging like a bag of Lay's or a Twix or like something like that, or Oreos, or I woke up, I need to have a midnight snack or something like that. So there are some studies that it's weird, because there are some studies that say that actually it is optimal for muscle growth if you do take it before bed. A lot of that used to be like bro science, but now it's like some bro science actually ends up being true, right? Later, they find out later, years down the line. So it's interesting. I feel like it's kind of like a trade-off you're playing with there.
Interesting. Okay. What are the thoughts on the sauna and the cold plunge?
Sauna is great. Definitely think it fries your hair. So definitely have like a cap on if you do, because if you do it a lot, it's going to dry out your hair. Also, it increases DHT. So if you're already prone to hair loss, try to minimize that or take things that would stop DHT.
Cap, huh? Yeah. And it's actually those sauna caps, because when you wear a sauna cap, it allows you to stay in the sauna longer, because when you get hot, it's really your head that overheats first before anything else. If you have a sauna cap to keep your head cool, you can stand there longer and sweat out your body. Another thing that changed the game for me was you actually want to go in the sauna a little bit dehydrated, because you'll see dudes in the sauna.
I haven't heard that one before.
I don't know if that's true, but dude, that's, for me, if you go in there a little bit not I'm saying completely, but
it's already like a diet. You're already sweating out water.
Let me hear your thoughts on this, because you're sitting in there. I see dudes sitting in the sauna, and they're just chugging these big things of water, these gallons of water. I'm like, that's defeating the entire purpose of the sauna, because the purpose of the sauna is to heat up your internal organs. Am I wrong?
I mean, no, you're still getting the autophagy benefits. Like, they're just trying to like, you're losing water, so they're just trying to get backwards. It's not going to stop it, but definitely.
So it doesn't. So you could drink all the water you want in a sauna. It
doesn't
affect it.
Yeah. It's not going to affect it. Your body's still. I mean, you're still sweating, are you not? Like, they're still causing that angiogenesis. So it's very similar to that. What you're trying to do in a sauna is very similar to that of like fasting. So what I recommend a lot of people, if you're really about trying to live as long as possible, is doing a 3-day fast once a year. Because
that's super good for you.
Yeah, because at the 3-day mark, it causes something called autophagy, which is where your body literally recreates all the cells and gets rid of all the inflammation and oxidative stress within the body.
Clears out all the cancers in your body.
Yeah. Essentially anything.
Everybody has cancer in their body.
Well, oxidative stress. Yeah. Well, nowadays, like, it's impossible to avoid it. You could take like literally like the strongest antioxidants in the brain, like that are ever created, and you'll still have something that's out there in your body. Like, it's crazy nowadays, because like even now we're talking about like just the chairs we're sitting on, the bedding material, like everything. It's crazy. It's impossible.
Yeah, I love the sauna. I read an article not too long ago where it talked about how the sauna in today's day and age, there's so many heavy metals in our water, our food, things that we consume, where it's becoming almost a necessity to be able to sit in a sauna and sweat out those toxins and those heavy metals.
And I'm a big proponent. There's things that do that too. If you can't do the sauna for some whatever reason, like you just can't handle it, which, I mean, first you probably got to walk
outside.
Yeah. You probably got to reassess yourself if you're afraid of being in the sauna for 10 minutes at least.
Yeah.
But there are other things that do the same thing. One is it's actually kind of talking about cognition. Is the Russians developed it. It's called bromantane. So they used to give this to Russian soldiers during like World War II. Well, sorry, slightly after World War II, it was developed to keep them like alert and focused. It actually is good for focusing as well because it upregulates dopamine in the brain. And actually keeps it there. So even after you stop taking it, you'll still have more motivation than you did before, which is kind of crazy.
Really?
But not even that. It's actually good for the sauna because it increases your resilience to heat stress, because they were thinking, well, if you're in war, you're obviously going to have crazy and critical conditions. So you have to be able to withstand that.
Mm-hmm.
As well as it also is actually able to improve your work errors, decrease anxiety, modulate your stress. Because if you're chronically stressed, you're not going to be able to focus, right?
Mm-hmm. Bromotain. Where can you get this at?
I'm not allowed to give sourcing, but you'll be able to find it pretty easily on the internet. I'll tell you that, that's for sure.
Head up your plug. All right.
Yeah, I can't give a shameless plug. But it also, the crazy part of it is it detoxes metals in the body and the liver. So it actually will help with your liver function and detoxing the liver and your body systemically.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the cold plunge?
It's great. So it definitely helps get rid of some of those inflammation factors. I think a lot of people go wrong, and a lot of influencers don't talk about this, which if you are doing this, please stop because you're screwing yourself over, is hitting a workout and then immediately after throwing yourself in the cold plunge.
Yeah. You're killing all your gains.
You're literally killing all your gains, because building muscle is an inflammatory process.
Yep.
So if you're doing it before or after, then you're just you're leaving all the gains on the table.
Even before, huh? Really? Hitting some, okay.
I would try to do it at least like a couple hours apart.
Yeah, I do mine I typically do mine. I space it out an hour to a couple hours.
Yeah, that's typically the best way to do it.
And then if I do it, I don't do if I hit it afterwards, it's not within a 4-hour window. If it's before, I'll try to do it before 2 hours before I lift, and then after, not within 4 hours.
It's kind of like cardio. Like you can still put on muscle if you do cardio, like heavy cardio while you're lifting. But if you want to be optimal, you have it like
spaced it out. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. You want to know a funny story about the cold plunge? So this morning, woke up and it's 33 degrees outside in Florida. It was cold this morning. I don't know if you were outside this morning.
Yeah, dude. I threw on the Prosper zip up, and I was walking out my building, and I'm like, why is it so damn cold?
Yo, dog. Yeah. So I stood there for about 20 seconds, and I never hesitate going in the cold plunge. But the cold plunge, like working out's the one thing that I enjoy doing, working out. So it's kind of a discipline thing, kind of not. But the cold plunge is the one thing where it's like it actually takes mental endurance to get in it. Especially on a morning like this morning.
It's already cold, yeah.
It was freezing. And then so I get in there, and I'm just like, fuck this. And I set my timer. I sit in there for 3 minutes every morning. And I set my timer this morning, and I'm sitting in there. And I'm sitting in there. I'm like, dude, this cold. It's cold. Don't think about it. So I started doing breath work, trying not to think about it. And I'm sitting there some more. I'm like, dude, like this is a long 3 minutes. And I just kept thinking, oh, like it's a long 3 minutes because it's just so cold outside. Like just power through it. Like you're a pussy if you get it. And so I sit in there I'm like, dude, I know I set my timer. Why is the timer not going off? I'm like, oh, whatever. Like just lock in. Like it's not 3 minutes yet. Dude, I sat in there for like 15 minutes this morning.
Wow.
I set my timer for an hour and 3 minutes.
You're military. You're military ready, bro. I cannot do that myself.
Bro, I got out. I was so cold. I typically don't take a hot shower. I turned my shower on hot. I stood in the shower. I was still freezing. I get in my car this morning. I turned on the seat warmer, and I'm blasting the heat. I'm still freezing. It took me like 3 hours to warm up.
Wow, 3 hours?
That's so cold.
That's crazy.
But other than that, I love the cold plunge. It feels like I get out there. I just feel like I did a line of coke. Not that I know what coke feels like, but I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to rock.
No, that's how I feel after doing a couple like sprays of bromantane. That will have you like feeling like you're ready to just like dial in. That's why I think it's like a good alternative to like stimulant use for sure.
I'll have to look
I
into
definitely
that.
think there's definitely things you can take like antioxidants, and kind of when we were getting back to sleep was carnosic acid. So it comes from rosemary. It's like very highly concentrated, but it actually helps with building muscle, A, because it activates the mTOR pathway. B, it also gets rid of most of the inflammation. I think it's like one of the strongest antioxidants you can buy. Helps with your lipids, like for cholesterol and stuff like that. Obviously, that's a big problem in America today, and like cardiovascular problems as well. As well as it also helps with anxiety. So it activates certain pathways in the brain, like, you know, when you're taking prescription meds, like a doctor's like, hey buddy, I'll hand you a Xanax so you can, you know, chill out. Obviously that's going to be terrible for you. I don't need to explain why. This hits the same serotonin pathway as benzos without the cognitive impairment of benzodiazepine in the brain. It actually was shown in a like little pastry dish, because obviously they don't have any way to analyze someone's brain. They're not going to cut them open and see, does this regrow the brain or not?
Yeah.
Was able to take dead axon terminals like we were talking about with like Adderall, was we able to regrow those axon terminals.
Wow.
Which is
interesting.
Yeah, so it's great for sleep, dude. Like I have my Whoop. I take it.
Shout out to the Whoop. I love my Whoop.
I have my Whoop. I take it, and like my recovery is like always like 98%. Like today was 98%, and I was like, yeah. And I don't know if it's like I'm stressing about things I got to do business wise or what, but like it just allows my.
Have you ever gotten 100% recovery?
I don't think so. No.
You got a 99?
I think I got a 99, but not 100. Yeah.
98's been my highest.
98?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think it just allows you to turn off your brain and just like go to bed and sleep really well.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that. But going back to, before I forget, dude, I'm actually getting I'm getting a barrel sauna in my backyard. So I'm gonna get that over after you come over. Dude, my favorite thing to do is, and when we went to Tulum, Mexico, we stayed at this resort. Anytime I'm at a spa, my favorite thing to do is steam room, sauna, cold plunge, and just rotate. I did that on my birthday. Dude,
Sounds like you're trying to give yourself pneumonia.
Really? Is it bad for you to
No,
do that?
no. I'm just making a joke because, like,
I feel amazing.
No. I mean, that's definitely like you're putting yourself through psychological warfare, but it probably feels good after.
It doesn't even feel like that. It just feels great. Because I do steam room first, so I do breath work in the steam room. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on breath work, but do breath work, then I get in the sauna. By the time I've been in the steam room at sauna, I'm ready to cool off. So again, the cold plunge feels great. And then you rotate the 3, you do 2, 3, 4 rounds of that, you feel unstoppable.
I definitely would have to try that. But yeah, it's definitely good for you. I just meant like, you know, pneumonia is like if you're going hot to cold, cold to hot. Like this is like only more in like older people, like they get like water in their lungs or whatever. But like, I don't think you have to worry about you're good. You're straight.
Good. All right. Dude, Ryan, you are one of the most knowledgeable people I know about this topic. So this has been phenomenal. I could talk to you for 5 hours, but for people that you're starting an energy drink company. So before we wrap up, we got to talk about that, and feel free to plug it if you want to.
Yeah, we don't have our website up yet, but we already have like our socials linked up. So if you want to follow it, we don't have any logos there yet, but Life2GG, that's the Instagram. The company name is Life 2.0. So kind of what I was going and talking about, like just being an all-in-one productivity, energy, and muscle building energy drink. So like we're just trying to take over the game because like, dude, like why are you spending $4 on a Monster just for straight caffeine? Like obviously it tastes good. Don't get me wrong. I love drinking Monster and Red Bull and Gorilla Mine, but like none of those are like actually, besides caffeine itself, like improving how you're able to focus, improving longevity.
It's got L-citrulline and like the Gorilla Mine. That's the best one I've found. What does it have on there? You're drinking what?
Yeah, so kind of break it down. I'll tell you, and this is no shade to Derek because I love Derek. Like I think he gives a lot of good information for people who are new, but the formulation, in my opinion, is probably not that great, to be completely honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, there's only so much you can do with something you can put out on the market because of obviously like you know regulations. You can't that, and you can't also put like research chemicals
Yeah.
in an energy drink. But basically, like L-tyrosine, most people aren't deficient in tyrosine, so I don't even know why it's in there. Like, it's not really going to have any subjective benefit. When you're talking about like Rise or Ghost, they have alpha GPC. There's studies that increases stroke risk. Like, you will have a higher chance of having a stroke.
So your guys' energy drink, what's it going to have in it, and how's it going to be different?
Well, I can't talk about the ingredients. I don't want to be that guy that says I signed an NDA, but I did.
Talk about the benefits.
Yeah, so our goal essentially is to help with depression, help with insulin sensitivity, which is obviously like the number one biomarker for like longevity.
Yeah.
So kind of talking about peptides, like Retta is definitely great for that. It's a very good longevity peptide because it helps with like neuronal conditions, as well as like making sure you're not fat and all the benefits with that, right?
Yeah.
Then also putting on additional muscle size, like grip strength, and what you're able to actually lift by a couple pounds. We were looking at some studies for that. Focus, so whether that be being able to actually either go in and just kill it at whatever you're doing, getting rid of something what we called, and I talked about this with you. I was looking at an actual drug for this, but we found something natural that would be able to kind of maybe achieve that same effect. Is a lot of people, they're getting banged on the phones when they're doing sales, or you're going out talking to people. You're like, I just feel like I hate talking to people. I can't do this anymore. I'm sure a lot of people relate to that feeling. Like they're just exhausted. That would pretty much get rid of that. Like our drinks aim to try to get rid of that feeling.
Sales bros are going to love this.
Yeah. So like, it's going to be huge in sales, but like even people, like a lot of people don't like, they walk in waking up like, I don't want to talk to anybody, like screw this, unless they're like, giddy up on stimulants or like prescription pills or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
So we are aiming to do that.
Wow.
Also helping with like, dopamine, of course, cause that goes along with the focus, but then, also making sure that there's things in there that would improve your lifespan as well. So like skin health and antioxidants in there. There's one thing that I actually recommend everybody take, and it's pretty much, it's found in nature if you can find it. It's kind of like, I'll tell you, it's like aspirin. It's called white willow bark, and I'm a big proponent of that. Definitely should take that. I don't mind sharing this part because it's pretty common knowledge. It basically will upregulate dopamine in the brain, helps with sleep deprivation, and also helps with inflammation. So that's the one ingredient I'm willing to tell you. That's one ingredient we're putting in there.
So if I drink this energy drink, I'm going to be Superman.
We're trying to basically create like the limitless drink. Yeah.
Let's go.
But like without prescription,
in real life.
Yeah, that's why it's Life 2.0. So like we already have our whole design, like
Life 2.0. That's a sick name.
You're gonna see it in a gas station, and you're gonna look at it and be like, what the hell is this thing? That's kind of like our.
So your goal is to get it in every gas station in America.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fire. That's fire. Ryan, for those that want to learn more about the stuff or find you on socials, how do they find you?
So I have a whole Instagram. Well, like obviously I like go really in depth. I have on here too for sure. But I try to break it down the best I can. And I definitely would probably soon be making a post about how you can like learn more about this, like how I did. Cause I really obviously been in this space for a while now, like a couple years, but I don't have any pharmacology degree. I didn't go to school for this. I learned all this on my own. This is something that I did that was self-study. So if you're like listening to all this and you're like, wow, I really like this stuff interests me. How do I learn this for myself or find out these things? I'll make a post about that. But I talk about a lot of these different things on my Instagram, which is Insured Newt, as well as you can go check out our energy drink page at Life2GG.
Huge. Ryan, thank you for hopping on the podcast, brother. Let's stay optimized.